Welcome. In previous few videos, we were discussing about laws or theorems or concepts related to steady magnetic field. From this video, we will be concentrating more on varying magnetic field. Basically, time varying magnetic field. So the discussion of time varying magnetic field should be started with findings of great Michael Faraday. So it was basically Faraday's experiment which told or which make the world realize that a changing magnetic field can do wonders. And still, even today, his findings is giving us electricity. So what was that great finding and what is the purpose of discussing that? Let us see. So he has stated certain law of electromagnetic induction. You might have come across this in your lower classes, but still my intention is to make you understand how exactly an electromotive force or a current is induced when magnetic field changes. So we'll start with Faraday's experiment. So we'll just check, or I'll just play for you an animation video which is done in accordance with his experiment. So first we have to consider a closed conductor, okay, with a bulb. Bulb is just to realize. Now one thing you have to remember here. So very important thing to remember here is the current can travel in this particular circuit in both the directions. So if current is flowing in one direction, let it glow yellow, another direction blue. So please keep this in mind. So the current can keep changing its direction in this conductor. So current can flow in both the directions. So in one direction, when it's flowing, the bulb will blow blue, and in other direction it will be yellow. Now let us bring a magnet, a bar magnet. You know that a bar magnet will produce magnetic field around it. So I have kept this bar magnet very near to this conductor, and you can see the magnetic field lines are crossing the conductor, but still the bulb is not glowing. This directly tells us magnetic field does not create electric current. So this was interesting for Michael Faraday. Then what he did is he just taken away this bar magnet. Oh no, he have seen some flash of light there. Then he kept it back there. Again he see flash of light. Check the color of the flashlight also. Okay, this made him amazed. See, his right mode is blue. Okay, blue, yellow, blue. So when you move away the bar magnet, the current is, yeah, this really amazed Mr. Michael Faraday. So when you are moving away, okay, getting it in, moving away, getting it in. So he start doing it. Then he thought, what if I keep bar magnet constant and move the conductor? Still he got it. Have you seen that flashing? No? Okay, I'll move it away. See, same effect. So either you move the bar magnet or you move the conductor, The bulb is flashing. That means current is flowing in one of the direction. So from that animated video, we understood that when you are trying to move a permanent magnet which is producing magnetic field around it, near to the conductor or away from the conductor, the bulb flashes. So it is basically inducing a current into that closed conductor. That's the reason why bulb is flashing. And you know that current cannot be created by itself, right? Current will flow in any closed circuit if and only if there is a potential difference. Otherwise, that's how we usually produce current. So we should not forget that, right? We use a battery source. We produce a positive, negative, right? We produce a high potential region, low potential region, and we make the current to flow. So when the magnet is moved to or away from the conductor, the bulb flashes, and the other way around, right? The magnet was kept constant and the conductor was moved in and around. Even then the bulb flashes. So in either case, a voltage is induced in the conductor. So this was a great finding, a great discovery by Michael Faraday, and even today we are using this electromagnetic induction principle for generating electricity. Right, great. So after this experiment, Faraday stated that a time varying magnetic field can produce electromotive force. So this induced voltage was given a name, electromotive force. So an electromotive force is nothing but basically a voltage, okay, which arises from conductor moving in a magnetic field or from a changing magnetic field, or both. Both is also possible. In that particular animated video that was not shown, the magnet and conductor can move together also. They can move randomly. Mathematically, what we are more interested is how to represent all these mathematically, right? So EMF induced, okay, let us write it as EMF. EMF induced is written as d phi m by dt. What does this say? You know that phi m is magnetic flux. So magnetic field, it can be measured based on the field lines. All this we have discussed, right? So magnetic flux will give me the measure of magnetic field, no doubt in that. So d by dt tells you that rate of change of magnetic flux will give me EMF. What is the rate of change of magnetic flux? Magnetic flux changing with time. So that means magnetic field changing with time will give me electromotive force. Okay, now as I told you, in that experiment, the bulb flashes blue, sometimes flashes yellow. What does this indicate? This indicates that the direction of the current is changing in the conductor now and then, but based on some criteria. What was that criteria? When the magnet was moving towards the conductor, okay, current was always in one direction. When the magnet was moved away from the conductor, okay, the current direction was opposite. Okay, why was this happening? So the induced EMF is trying to do something, in the sense the induced EMF is inducing a current such a way that that current will produce a magnetic field, right? Because you know that what is the source of magnetic field which we have already studied? Current. Current is main source of magnetic field. So when this bar magnet is moving around, a current is induced there. You should not forget that that induced current, even though for some amount of time, that induced current will produce a magnetic field, and that magnetic field is produced in such a way that that magnetic field will oppose the actual magnetic field which is creating it. Confused? I'll repeat. See, the induced current in the conductor is going to produce a magnetic field. So you have, or you had that around this oval shaped conductor, okay, whatever. Now there is a current flowing here, right? There is current flowing here. After some time in this oval shaped conductor, the current direction will change. Maybe current is flowing like this. In either case, you will have a magnetic field, right? Magnetic field around it. There is flux generator, there is magnetic field lines around it. This magnetic field line will be produced in such a way that it will oppose the actual magnetic field produced by my permanent magnet. This is required, right? This is required for the balancing of the system. So this is basically similar to conservation of energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. So you cannot have, like, if the current produced here is producing another magnetic field, okay, which is in line with this magnetic field, then what will happen is you go on produce this magnetic, like you increase the bar magnet, you increase the conductor, you are going to get enormous energy from a simple bar magnet. You can generate enormous energy. That is not possible. As per today's physics, that is not possible. So that's why we basically say everything in this universe follows conservation of energy or superposition theorem, right? There are some common laws, theorems which we believe that our universe follows. So basically based on that, it was experimentally found that the induced EMF, okay, the induced EMF is such a way that it produces a current which will produce a magnetic field and that will oppose the original magnetic field. I hope this is clear. But this was not proposed, or this was not experimentally proven by Faraday. This has to be very clear. Okay, what Faraday told is a time varying magnetic field will induce current. Okay, this is nothing but famous Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction. Okay, but it was Lenz's. Okay, so this is basically, or very popularly known as Lenz's law. So it was basically Lenz's, okay, basically Lenz, okay, we can call it as Lenz's law. So Lenz is the name of the scientist. So it was basically Lenz who found that, okay, if you want the full name, if you are fond of the full name, is Henry Lenz. Okay, so this was Henry Lenz who experimentally proved that the direction of induced EMF is such that it opposes the cause producing it. Okay, this is famously known as Lenz's law. So now, okay, when EMF was induced or introduced by Faraday, it was given by the equation EMF equal to d phi m by dt, but later Lenz has told that the produced EMF is opposing. So now we learn it as EMF is minus d phi m by dt. It is opposite to the rate of change of flux. So I can, or in other words, okay, from this, I hope this negative sign is very clear. I hope what Henry Lenz told is very clear, and what Faraday told is also very clear. So this mathematical equation tells me that EMF induced in a closed path is proportional to rate of change of magnetic flux enclosed by closed path. Okay, I'm talking closed path because the conductor which I have considered is a closed conductor. Okay, so if now, EMF mathematically, the EMF induced can be written as closed integral E dot dl. The EMF induced in a closed conductor circuit can be represented mathematically as closed integral E dot dl. Okay, this is for the purpose of representing my equation in mathematical form, because this particular equation is not in mathematical form because LHS is English letters, right? So mathematically I can write it as closed integral E dot dl as minus d phi m by dt. This is the famous Faraday's electromagnetic law of induction. Okay, now initially I told you that we can have this EMF induced by keeping the conductor stationary and moving around the bar magnet or source of magnetic field, and second is you can keep the source of magnetic field constant and you can move the conductor around and induce EMF. So based on this way of inducing EMF, the induced EMF is basically divided into two. This is very necessary to understand. Okay, so the EMF is basically divided into two. One is known as stationary EMF, and other one is motional EMF. So when a EMF is induced in a stationary closed path due to time varying magnetic field, then that EMF will be called as statically induced EMF. This EMF is also popularly known as transformer EMF. You might have studied about transformer. You know that transformer is a static device. It doesn't have any moving parts, and basically electromagnetic induction is the working principle of transformer. Okay, so since it is stationary or static device and the EMF produced in the transformer is always stationary EMF, because only magnetic field will be varying there, conductors are fixed, always fixed. So this stationary EMF is also popularly known as transformer EMF. Okay, I'll repeat. When EMF induced in a stationary closed path due to varying magnetic field, the EMF is called statically induced EMF or stationary EMF. And when EMF is induced in time varying closed path due to static magnetic field, okay, then EMF is called dynamically induced EMF or motional EMF. Okay, so in second case, EMF is induced by time varying closed path, okay, which I have shown in the animated video. The magnetic source of magnetic field or the magnetic field by itself will be stationary, and you will be moving around with the conductor. The conductor will be moving around in the field. Such an EMF is known as motional EMF, or we say dynamic EMF, dynamically induced EMF. Yeah, so whatever we have written here, okay, this equation is for static EMF, stationary EMF, or we call it a static EMF better, or transformer EMF. This particular equation, mathematical expression, indicates static EMF. Now we need to see how can we find expression for dynamically induced EMF. For this, we will make use of a charge moving in a static magnetic field at a velocity, okay, some velocity. Because when I say the conductor is moving in a magnetic field, it is basically so many charges, maybe line charges or closed path charges moving in magnetic field. So we will be making use of what we have already studied. We already know that the force, right, the force experienced by a moving conductor, right, in a magnetic field is given by F equal to Q V cross B. Okay, so if you consider that the motional electric field intensity is represented as EM, motional electric field intensity, if it is represented as EM, then force per unit charge is nothing but electric field intensity by definition. So I can write it as F by Q. This is how we found this equation, if you remember, right? So EM is F by Q. So what I am doing here, this EM is considered as electric field intensity which is motional. Okay, motional electric field intensity represented by EM, which can be F by Q, which is written as V cross B, because I have just taken that Q to the other side. So V cross B. So now see, what I can do is, I got EM as V cross B, in the sense I can write the EMF induced as closed integral EM dot dl, is it not? Because for stationary or for static EMF, mathematically we have represented the induced EMF as closed integral E dot dl. What is E there? E vector is nothing but electric field intensity. The same electric field intensity is now represented as EM, motional electric field intensity, and this EM is nothing but V cross B. So I will just substitute that in this expression. So I get it as V cross B, because EM is V cross B. So V cross B dot dl. So now what I get? Closed integral EM dot dl is equal to closed integral V cross B dot dl. So this is the expression for dynamically induced EMF or motional EMF. This is nice. Okay, so I can say that if both are possible, right, in the sense you can have a varying magnetic field, as well as you can have a steady magnetic field where conductor is moving also, and both can occur simultaneously also. So I say mathematically it is better to have an expression for both. So I say the total induced EMF can be calculated as superposition of both this EMF. That is, I add static EMF, okay, I add static EMF with dynamic EMF or motional EMF, then I will get the total induced EMF. Okay, so the total induced EMF is minus d phi m by dt plus closed integral v cross b dot dl. Fine, dot dl. Now I can write it in a better mathematical way, because phi m is nothing but the total magnetic flux, which can be written as b dot ds, right? Phi m can be written as b dot ds. So I can write it as minus d by dt of integral b dot ds. When I say integral, it is dot ds, so it will be surface integral. So surface integral b dot ds plus closed integral v cross b, right, dot dl, dot dl. And if I want, I can interchange these operands, right? Integral, differential of integral can also be written as integral of partial differential, right? Because for a constant surface, I can write it as minus integral of variation of magnetic flux density over the surface. So I can write this equation, rewrite this equation like this also. But the above equation also will serve our purpose. Okay, both equation will help us. So the total induced EMF, will be this equation. So to summarize, we learned that Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction tells that an EMF can be induced by varying a magnetic field or by moving a conductor in a steady magnetic field. So in first case, the induced EMF will be known as statically induced EMF or transformer EMF, and in the second case, the induced EMF will be known as motional EMF. And since both the movements are possible, practically possible, so it is better to have a total induced EMF equation. So we have derived a mathematical total induced EMF equation also. Yeah, thank you for watching.